Hello everyone, and welcome back to John Bill's Iconic Village Malls. Okay, so you can see I've got this 172 Caldercraft HMS Victory on the table. Like I say, if you watched last time's video, I've actually recently acquired this, and I'm going to kind of build it at the same time as I've got my 184 scale HMS Victory from deagostini up there as well, because like I said in the last video, this has got a lot better rigging plans, so I want to try and get this up to a same stage as this Victory, so I can rig them at the same time, because it's a lot easier to follow. But I thought I'd just give you a bit of a closer look at this Victory today and seeing where it's been built up to and what I need to do next with it to try and get it up to the same stage. So like I say, most of this pretty much it's kind of built a little bit different to how I built mine. I built the decks up first, really first, and then I kind of painted all the outside. But this has been built where all the outer hull is built up first, and then the decks have been added after. So thinking about it, maybe going forward, I actually do quite like that idea, actually getting all the hull painted and then work on the decks in between. But yeah, there's pros and cons for everything. So like I say, these are some of the masts have already been built, so I'll just kind of put them in early just to kind of have a look at them. So I'll just put them back down here. Yeah, so like I say, it's had the some of the top deck has been started to work on, but it's still quite easy just to slip this in and out at the minute. So yeah, this will be built by 3 people now. It's been built by somebody around about 15, 16 years ago. Then it was bought by somebody else, my work colleague, and he's been working on it, but he's not actually worked on it for the last 6 years. So yeah, so it's a little bit, it's kind of trying to get my head around exactly how somebody else has built it and how I want to build it going forward myself. So yeah, it's a little bit head scratching at the minute. So this is kind of the stage I got it at, where I had some of the gratings already added. But one of the first things I've done is I've just removed some of these gratings, as I'm going to actually just remake all these. And just because as I'm starting on it, I just want to just slightly change a couple of things. I'm just going to change the wood that is used around it to make these gratings as well. So that's why I've just pulled them off. It's not too much work, and I just prefer like being encased with some walnut. You can just make it stand out a little bit better. Yeah, so really we can't really do much with this yet, but this has been half planked already. So when we bring this next part on, we can continue with the plan. So, but let's say this has not been touched for quite some time. There's quite a bit of separation in these planks, which is not too concerning me that much, because on the real HMS Victory, if you actually walk around the real HMS Victory, a lot of the planks have started to spread, but there is a stain there as well that I've got to try and deal with. So I don't know, hopefully I can maybe just, if I can't get that off, I can just chop that out a little bit. But yeah, also I'm going to end up pulling these out as well and just remaking them in some walnut. And then all this weather deck opening, I'm going to paint all that black as well, so probably easy to paint that while I can still quite get a lot of access to this this top deck. And again, the poop deck can just be pulled out. That's already been planked, so there's not really a lot to be done with that. Also, I've just been looking at the skylight, Admiral skylight, and that needs just finishing off, so I've got that downstairs as well. I've got this that front piece, that's pretty much all built, so that could, once they I put on the top deck, then that can be painted and glued in there. So there's quite a lot of this before already been built, but there's still quite a lot to do. So pretty much at a stage now where all these cannons or guns all need fitting and then pretty much gluing into place on this deck before we can then add the next deck. So like I say, on this one, which is a lot different to my Victory, my quarter deck is the only ones, there are 5 on each side, port and starboard side. They're the only ones that actually are rigged, and then the rest are all the dummy cannons. So like I say, I didn't work any the lower decks this, but I think lower down, I think they're all dummy cannons. But this entire deck is all made up of obviously cannons sat in the cradles. But when you rig them all, but because it's a time purpose as well, I've also spoke to Dave, who I'm finishing off this for, and I'm actually just, all I'm going to do is just rig 5 exactly, that it can be seen through the weather deck opening, and then the rest I will actually build them into the little the gun mounts, the gun cradles, but I will actually just glue them in place where they just look like that. So obviously the gun's going to protrude out, but I won't have to go to the extreme time of rigging it all, especially anything past this, like this second part where there's this bulkhead. None of that will be seen, so same again, they're all just going to be dummy rigged, and like I say, that'll just save hours, because on these ones, these are actually very true to scale, but these are 2mm single blocks, so these are take quite a lot of rigging. So yeah, probably save a little bit of time there. So once I've kind of rigged all that, and then kind of put all these cannons in as well, just a little bit of work just needs to be doing on these gratings. Some of the cannonballs have fell off, and some of the little stands have started to just wobble a little bit, so I pulled the rest off, and I'm just going to repaint them, probably sand this down, and then reattach them, and then I can work forward. This deck's not too bad. It's got a little bit of dust over it on the years. There's a little bit of staining on it, so I'll probably just I think actually this bulkhead felt a bit loose, and I wish I could pull that out, but yeah, I'll just try and clean this. So this is a bit of for forward planning. Obviously, as you work on the lower decks, you've kind of added a little bit of string coming up, so there's some stanchions just to fit around this section, and then I can kind of rope it a little bit like this one has. So it looks like there's a lot of work, but it's not really. It's just a case of just making things a little bit neat and tidy. Things have started to fall off as they do over years, where it's not been finished. And then I'll just get my big brush in, and I'll just kind of give it a little bit of a clean and just see what I can get out. I'm not too bothered about it too much, because a lot of it isn't really seen on this deck, but just be a little bit of a cleaning. The good thing about a brush as well is obviously as you're brushing it, anything that's actually it's not glued down particularly very well, they'll start to come loose, which is kind of good, because you don't want them loose. You don't want them years down the line all start dropping off. So a lot of these little cannonballs, I'll just glue them back in. And same again, some of these portholes, these porthole gun lids, these kind of fell off. And somebody's told me that you shouldn't never really put the gun lids on until pretty much after your rigging. So if any of these fall off when I'm getting it clean, if they fall off, and then they'll stay off, and then I'll refit them right at the end. Because yeah, people have said that gun port lids like that's loose. So like I say, anything that's loose, if it comes off when you clean it, I'm quite happy with that. But yeah, as I was saying, people have said that you shouldn't really put your gun port lids on until after it's rigged, because they can get in the way. Maybe put the ones on under the chain walls, but other than that, yeah, I think if they fall off as I'm cleaning it, just needs a really good dust. It's like I say, it's not been it's just been sat on the shelf for about 6 years, so yeah, they just accumulate quite a bit of dust. So yeah, that's one of the biggest jobs to do first. Yeah, so that's pretty much all I want to show you on this this update. And like I say, I've got I'm going to work on it downstairs. I've set myself up a bit of like a workshop downstairs as well, so I can kind of, when I come in from work, I can actually sit and just do a little bit. Sometimes I don't always feel like just coming up in this room out of the way after work, so now I can just sit at my table and do a little bit of model building. So yeah, so pretty much, like I say, it probably feels like I've got a lot of work, but it's not actually as lot as it seems. A lot of the work is already done with this. Pretty much all this hull that's hundreds of hours. It's just a little bit of getting my head around all the parts. Like I say, figuring out if anything's missing. There's a couple of bits missing on this officer's quarters. Some of these, like these little photo etch windows, have fell out, and I'm trying to sort through, see if I can find them. But if not, then I'll let Dave know, and he'll be able to contact obviously the manufacturers of this kit, and obviously do a bit of a pick list of everything that we need. But most of it's here. Just might be just a few more things that need to be done, and there might be a few things that as I start to build that I'm not that happy with. So some of the things that I can scratch building myself. go from there. So anyway, just wanted to give you a quick update. I said just had a nice week's holiday. I spent a bit of time in Bristol. Spent 2 days in Bristol, had a look around Bristol Harbour, and I went around the SS Great Britain. So yeah, I really enjoyed that. I really like the maritime ships, and then obviously normally other museums that come with them as well. So then I had a nice 3 or 4 days in Cornwall, which is very much like a town or a city of the sea. So yeah, I really enjoyed being down there as well. It's given me a little bit more zest for life to get working on these victories again. So anyway, hope you enjoyed the update, and I'll see you all again soon. Take care, everyone.